And a very good morning to you, and welcome to Safari TV. My name is Jared, and we have Catherine on camera this morning.
Good morning, everyone.
And we have Mark in final control, and yeah, we're going to head out this morning. It's actually a nice, warm morning. I've only got the single jacket on, and compared to being on leave in Johannesburg, this is absolutely amazing temperature. But Mark's been telling me that the temperature of late has, also we've had a few cold mornings, but it looks good, and good start to the morning on quarantine at the moment. Got an update from Mark saying that the Sticks Pride were around quarantine as well as one of the boys. So that's our mission for this morning. We're going to head out and see what we can find. And anything sort of, all the animals seem to be quite calm. Didn't get one of the tracks of the boys coming across. Obviously when he got treed by the Sticks earlier last night, he's obviously been mulling around. So let's go out and see what we can find this morning. And it is great to be back. Self and Kath had a fantastic leave. As I said, from a very cold Johannesburg. But I'm very happy to be back in the bush, I can tell you that. Got those wildebeest grazing. Also heard the baboons at Yuri's house going a bit bananas this morning. Just the usual play that you often see them doing. And while sitting here waiting to go live, just having a look around in these large marula trees on quarantine, just to see if we can see a tail hanging from a branch or anything like that. But so far no sign of any predators, but the day is young. The day is young. I do apologise if you hear me sniffing. I have a bit of a sinus issue at the moment. I'll try my best not to sniff so much. And remember folks, we are coming to you live, and if you have any questions for us, you can send them into final control at safari.tv. As we make our way slowly past this large herd of impala and this group of wildebeest. See Graham Cook is there with the baboons, busy watching. And the sun should be rising in about 15 minutes or so. Sun's rising, I looked yesterday, was probably between 2:45 and 7. But still enough light for us to get going. And as I said, it certainly is not too cold. Not too cold at all. Very, very comfortable. So what I think what we're going to do initially this morning is just move around quarantine. Just look for some tracks and just see if there's a general sort of movement of game in anywhere. What is Mr. Wildebeest looking at? These are all females that are walking here, the three of them. The bull should be around. Of course, females are ones that occupy the territory, or a male's territory. Just getting an update here. Just getting a count on the wildebeests. Well, so far we've got 3 females and 1 youngster. It just looks like the 4 of them this morning, Mark. What I'm gonna do is head around to the western side of quarantine and just drive around that way. All seems to be in with these baboons here. Certainly if they did see any predator, they would be alarming and what have you. So this eastern side of quarantine seems to be calm, and we'll go around the other side. with the Sticks Pride and one of the boys around, with all this general game that is around quarantine, also look for signs of possibly any predation, any animals that were taken last night. You can hear the start of the morning chorus of the Cape turtle dove, that cuckoo, cuckoo. Morning mobile stations, Jared Mobile from Safari TV. Just going to be following up around quarantine, looking for any tracks of the sticks from last night. Of course, we always rely on the roads to give us any signs that the animals have been moving around. You see, here's part of the Sticks Pride, the tracks of the lions. Okay, they go towards the dam. We're just at our access road here to the staff village. They cross pretty much behind us, straight towards the dam. So we'll slowly go round towards Gowrie Dam. And if any of you out there, I suppose, heard any lions last night at Gowrie Dam, or got to see them, please let me know. I'd love to hear who's out there this morning, and or the evening for some of you. As I said, it's great to be back. For wildebeest, obviously, maybe because with the four, I know that they belong to a larger group. Perhaps last night they were split. Who knows? Listening to some of the banter on the radio this morning about what some of the guys are doing. Okay. Just got an update on some of the lion tracks saying that they're on Twin Dams Road, heading south towards Twin Dams, so we'll certainly keep an ear out for them. And look at that sun, it is coming up. It comes up slightly earlier here. Obviously we're a bit further east. A beautiful sun. Beautiful. As I said earlier, there's a little bit of a cool breeze, but clear skies and typical winter morning. Clear skies, hoping to be. It's turning out to be quite warm during the afternoon. Probably about 25, 28 degrees Celsius. I remember seeing on the radio on the television last week, hearing that it was about 30 degrees here during the day. Lots of red-billed buffalo weavers on the ground. A lot of hornbills around as well. Of course, a lot of the food source on the insect line, things like that. Not too many insects out and about, but certainly enough to keep a lot of the bird species going. Can't tell you how nice it is to be back in the bush and away from the hustle and bustle of the cities. Beautiful out here this morning. Alright, I think now that we have a general idea since we know where the lion tracks are, we'll possibly go onto Philemon's cut line, all the way down onto Zoe's and then get onto Gowrie Main. See if they've gone all the way south by the sounds of things. Copy that info. I'm going to come down Philemon's cut line now, see if I can pull up around there. The guys are just saying, I'm not sure who it is, just saying that tracks for leopards. Okay. Ooh. African hawk eagle. Oh man. He was just sitting on the branch. And there he goes. I hope he settles. African hawk eagle. Just got an update of 2 leopard tracks heading northwest from Chelapan. Towards Weaver's Nest. Ah, where did that hawk eagle go? There he is. Let's see if you can catch him there, cat. Just on the top of the tree. A very easy raptor to be able to distinguish. Very similar to that of the Marshall, but the Marshall has a black head with a white spotted chest, where this has got a prominent white head and chest without those spots, and also the African hawk eagle being a much smaller raptor than that of the Marshall being one of our largest in the area. And certainly in conditions like this, where it's still quite cool, but there is still a bit of a breeze. Not ideal conditions to be flying around this early this morning. Beautiful. Just hearing now where the tracks of the sticks are heading northeast on Nyala Road. Nyala Road South, I would imagine. Anyone out there? I'd love to hear from you, folks. See if you... Let us know if you're out there. And remember, send in those questions. Sounds like the Styx Pride managed to kill last night, and he's just found, not the lions, but he's found some hyenas sitting in an old kill. He hasn't said what it is. Possibly there's not too much left, possibly just some bones and what have you, but no lions yet. Heading on Nyala Road South, so they've been, by the sounds of things, they've certainly been moving around last night. Interesting. I hope the sticks are still in. Really hope they're still in. As you know, these lions can move great distances overnight. I remember tracking a pride of lions, what must have been 15-20 kilometers. And we had found the tracks that were relatively fresh, from a couple of years ago. It was in the morning. It was in summer, so we were starting out quite early, and found the tracks at about 5:30 or so, and we tracked them for about 3 hours till about 8:30. And only found them across on the other side of our concession, and worked out that they had walked about 15-20 kilometers just in the space of that 3 or 4 hours. So you can imagine if the Styx Pride were hunting last night, using their noses to pick up scent of any prey, moving around quite a bit. What I might do is head down Philemon's cut line, take Treehouse Dam Road, go past Treehouse Dam, and make our way towards Weaver's Nest that way. Head south on Weaver's Nest towards Gowrie Main. Alrighty. Morning, James. And James is inquiring, do we carry any weapons with us just in case we get attacked by an animal? Well, James, first of all, thanks for the question. Glad you're with us here this morning, or if you're at Los Angeles, probably late in the evening for you. And James, certainly because we don't have any guests with us. Usually it's because we have guests that it's for their safety, and generally that's because you'll be getting off the vehicle now and again on foot, and that's when you'd need a rifle or a weapon. But because we don't get off the vehicle, we don't walk around, we don't have guests, and when you're in a vehicle, you shouldn't need a weapon. You should not need a weapon. We are very safe within the vehicle, and remember that if you abide by all the rules and what have you with these animals, and you don't break the outline of the vehicle, and you don't upset them too much, you should be 100% safe. But certainly with no guests on board, we are absolutely fine, James. So no weapon, just our knowledge and experience that all of us have gained throughout the years. Thanks, James. Right, we're on Philemon's cut line, heading in a southwesterly direction. Few Impala around. And I cannot believe how dry it is. Wow, from just the 2 weeks that we've been away, okay, it's incredible. Just in the 2 weeks that we've been away, just driving in to the Sabi Sands and seeing how this bush has dried out. Absolutely incredible. There's a little bit of greenery left, and of course those trees that are evergreen. Certainly it has dried out somewhat, so I'm quite keen to see the level of the dams, see how those are keeping up. Of course they should maintain a decent level, and of course until you get the large herds of buffalo, elephant coming in. See some buffalo tracks here, just at the junction of Philemon's Cut Line and Treehouse Dam Road, and we've got Shabam Road to our right here. It looks like there was a large herd of buffalo around here not that long ago. So some dung tracks as well, some dung scattered all over. Sure. Wow. Now it sounds like these lion tracks of the Styx Pride have crossed west again on Central Road from Inyala Road south. Wow, they're doing a big circle. Andrew's still following up. So they could be anywhere. And I think that's the great thing about a safari, is that no two safaris are the same. And anything can happen. And I know it's been relatively quiet, but you just never know. You always got to be optimistic, positive about it. Otherwise there's no point in us being out here. Okay. Very good morning to you all from Ontario, Canada. I was just wondering what sort of education we need to go through to become a guide and all the rest of it. Well, that's if you look at all of us, myself, Mark, Patrick, Cara, we've all gone different, and the general sort of that no problem. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, sorry about that. Hal was just getting to your question there as we see this hippo bull is still here at Treehouse Dam. And I see they've closed off the dam wall, which is very, very wise. Hal, as I was saying, it's very different as to the route that we all take. And with all the rules and things changing over time, certainly for Mark, who's been doing this for a lot longer than all of us. I know that he started out, I think, here in the Sabi Sands, if I'm correct. Let's see if he's going to give us a bit of a yawn, this hippo. No. And yeah, it's a bit. I mean, how for us in South Africa, there are quite a few training courses, sort of training academies, if you'd like, where you could either study for quite a bit of a range, from about a 6-week level 1 FOGASA being the Field Guarding Association of South Africa. It's a sort of a governing body that you apply to join. They set up sort of rules and regulations and examinations, and that's pretty much generally the route that most people take. You pay your sort of yearly subs. Oh, hello there. Getting quite a bit of activity from this bull. And you can study up to a level 3, and then after that an SKS, which is a special knowledge and skills, and there are different topics. There's birds, paleoanthropology, sort of dangerous game and things like that. So level 1, level 2, level 3, just the different sort of going from a very basic bush knowledge on the level 1 to a very sort of scientific level in a level 3. And then, for a lot of, I know sort of in Zimbabwe and Botswana, or up in Zambia, they do have the examinations, not quite sort of as up to date as that of FOGASA that I've seen. So certainly that is the general way in which most people are going at the moment. It's how I started out. I know it's how Tara started out. Patrick, a little bit different, where he started out as a tracker, doing the tracker levels. You also get the different levels of tracker. Level 1, level 2, level 3, and then of course you're going into all the way top to the top level, which is a scout, which is an unbelievable. I think there's only literally a handful of scouts in southern Africa. So I know Patrick started out as the tracker, and then got his FOGASA levels for guarding. So and of course, how it's not just the examinations, it's also the amount of time and experience that you log in the bush. No examination can give you a level for 10, 15, 20 years. I know some guards that have been guarding for 20 years, and are unbelievable guards. But they've been happy with the level 1 or level 2 sort of guarding qualification. It is up to you to study further and get to that level 3 and SKS and what have you. But what happens generally in the guarding industry is you get into a comfortable rut, as quite a common thing, where you get comfortable in a lodge and you just sort of guard day in and day out, and time flies. It's incredible how time flies. And before you know it, a year's gone by, and you haven't really looked at picking up a book too much, although you've read a little bit, and just to try and stay ahead of the game. But it's very easy to get caught up in the guarding and not really do any of the studying. So it really, you do need to push yourself and strive to get those top sort of guarding qualifications. But that doesn't mean that it's you any less of a guide, because I believe it's that experience in the bush that really does build you as the character guide that what you know us all to be. Alright. So all else is quiet here at Treehouse Dam. Just this one hippo bull, and water level has certainly dropped somewhat since we were here last. I can definitely see the difference. But what we're now the 8th of June, and yeah, I'm certainly hoping that there is going to maintain a bit of water here. Possibly not deep enough to maintain this hippo bull, but certainly there will be a little bit of water left. Alrighty. Okay. Alright folks, so signal's not too great on this particular road. We'll stay in the audio as long as it is good enough. And to dance to get to Alright, so that's the paddles on particular roads. We're heading into the sun. Wow. Alright, so back with us. Break up a little bit. So you about the area. Yeah. we're on Weaver's Nest heading south. Alright, so you're back on the jigger with us. Or the vehicle. We haven't decided on a name yet, I guess. And we're heading south on Weaver's Nest, just looking for those two leopard tracks that we heard about earlier. Remember, we are coming to you live at the moment, folks. My name is Jared. We've got Catherine on camera and Mark in final control. Please remember to send in those questions to finalcontrol@safari.tv. And we are busy following up on some leopard tracks, while Andrew is busy following up on the Styx Pride. Last we heard, they were heading west on Central Road. They've just come off Nyala Road South. So there was a bit of activity last night. So we hope that we can find something this morning. Of course, it does require a bit of luck. And our spotting ability, if they are visible from the road, if they're lying somewhere just off the road. And all it takes is takes a bit of an ear flick or a tail flick to pick up any movement. Okay, so it sounds like the lion's headed north on Gowrie Cut Line and cross north over Buffelshoek Cut Line. So it looks like they're in Buffelshoek at the moment. So the Styx are off Western Gowrie. See if we can find anything else. We'll get onto Gowrie Main shortly. Just go up Twin Dams Road, do a bit of a zigzag. Right, Gowrie Main. Heading east. Some Impala here. Looks like part of a bachelor group. So just good to stop now and again just to see if you can hear anything. Of course, the rutting season is officially over. And testosterone levels are down. All the Impala rams are happy. And for all these that you see here within this bachelor group, they of course were either kicked out and got taken their harem from them, defeated in a head-butting rutting challenge, and until the next rutting season they will maintain and sort of remain within the bachelor group, coexist quite happily, and pretty much feed and just survive. And then until the next and until next April, with that full moon starting and the testosterone levels rising again. So we shouldn't be hearing or seeing any more of that sort of snorting and the odd sounds that you hear from them. And now going into the dry times, although there is still quite a bit of foliage left, it's the hardy creatures that really will maintain their bodies well enough. And part of being some of the more resilient of the creatures, also being mixed feeders, certainly have a great opportunity to stay in better condition compared to a lot of other species. Browsers or complete grazers that, well, especially the grazers, where if you look at some of this grass, it doesn't look like there's too much nutrients or life in the grass. And the grazers are going to have to start focusing on the shortened grasses, because the nutrients are now going to be drawn closer to the root during winter. This is how our grasses will protect themselves. They will not expose too many nutrients, the tops of the grasses. Still quite a bit of foliage left for browsers like kudu, giraffe. The animals still look in very, very good condition. Very, very good. Very nice. So animals, especially, I mean, with this wind swirling a little bit, animals, prey species are generally not as calm and collected. Very difficult to pick up on, well, because there's no general sort of direction that they can sort of move in, that they can sort of figure out of what is ahead of them. Often this is what predators will do. They'll walk into the wind, so it gives them a better idea of what is ahead of them. They can smell the prey way ahead on the wind, and the prey will do pretty much exactly the same thing. Walking with the wind, not going to help you with any idea of what's ahead of you when the wind is blowing from your back or onto your back. And time for the sunglasses. Wow, sun's rising quickly. No signs of any major game coming in so far. No elephant or rhino or anything like that. Got some scrub hare tracks here. Okay. From Ice Age asking, we noticed any of this World Cup soccer fever going down? Well, I can tell you, certainly coming from Johannesburg, absolutely incredible the following that our Bafana have got. Bafana being our soccer team. It is incredible. Did not realize, and although it is the biggest thing to happen to South Africa along the sports side of things, certainly weren't aware of how big it certainly was going to get. Absolutely. I think in the book is not really going to be dealing with it too much. I did bring my soccer shirt with me. I may ask to wear my Bafana play. You never know. But certainly it is incredible to see Okay. Alright, so you're back on the vehicle with us. I'm just making our way onto Twin Dams. Gonna go up Twin Dams Road. Gonna head across onto Chelapan Weaver's Nest. Difficult, no tracks on these leopard anyway. Maybe just go up Twin Dams Road all the way up. The big drag mark of the tail of that water monitor coming this way to the dam. That very large water monitor, or Nile monitor, also known as. Around anywhere here. Nothing around too much here at the moment. We'll carry on up. Mark, just to inquire, has the crocodile been back at, has anyone seen it in the last 2 weeks at Buffelshoek Dam? Okay. See a Battalier eagle, if you can get that one, okay? Looks like a Battalier eagle sitting on a dead leadwood. Just confirm with the binoculars. That's affirmative. Beautiful Battalier. Also can hear some green pigeons and a jackalberry opposite us as well. They must be nesting around somewhere. I know that saw the Battalier here just before we left, sitting on this dead leadwood right next to the road here.
Not the greatest of pictures.
No, it's just a silhouette of, yeah, with the sun just behind like that. But certainly see that silhouetted shape of the Battalier. For me, definitely one of the more beautiful raptors, with that contrasting red, black, white. Very, very beautiful colors. I love that call of the green pigeon in the background. And got a question from Pamela. Hello Pamela. Good to hear from you. Pamela's just asking, now that the rutting is over, are the impala drop their horns like the elk do back in the US. Well, certainly one of the big differences between a deer and an antelope. One of the main points is that antelope do not lose their horns, well, not on purpose at least, although they are able to break their horns while fighting, not shed. Of course, the antlers are multi-stemmed, have got a velvety covering, and are shed every season. Antelope are a bony sort of under layer the skull with a keratin covering. So very big difference, and as I said, they do not lose their horns on purpose. I've seen it quite often during a rutting season where males, during quite a sort of strong fight, that just at that angle and the bodies sort of move with each other, and with that aggression they can break those horns. I've seen one, and I've seen yeah, Mark, breaking up. Okay. Across to Wheatley's Nest. Has it been this bad for a while? Alright, so we're back on the vehicle, heading north on Weaver's Nest. Came across on Elephant Skull. Found some leopard tracks going around, heading towards Twin Dams. And of course those would have been the tracks. Here they are here again. Looks like they've done a complete loop. Where are these leopards? So, Pamela, I hope I got your question answered there. Thanks for the question, Pamela. Good to hear from you. Okay. Alright, got a question here from Susie asking in the Pacific Northwest that some of the deer and elk get a condition called hair loss syndrome. And do some of the animals here, the antelope, do we see this? Certainly there are certain skin conditions, Susie, that I have seen within these animals that they get. A form of mange that is quite bad. There are other certain skin conditions that hair loss, we don't really call it hair loss syndrome. I suppose there would be different names for it all over, but certain parasites that feed off the skin on certain, well, on mammals. I've seen it mostly on giraffe. I've seen it on kudu, and a couple of years ago the Kruger Park had quite a severe sort of bout of it on the impala, and it was a form of mange, this parasite that feeds off the body and the skin, and a lot of impala were losing quite a bit of their hair. So certainly antelope and deer do show certain similarities in certain things. We just may call it something else, but out here we have different forms of mange, just like you get in your dogs. Thanks, Susie. That's certainly animals in the wild will be susceptible to quite a bit of diseases, and I know that baboons suffer very similar diseases to that of human man. I know they go through heart conditions just like us, arthritis and stuff like that. Deformities. So certainly there will be certain similarities between our African counterparts to some of the deer and elk. Alright, so what we've done now, folks, we're on Twin Dams Road, heading north, and looks like these leopards have sort of mulled around this block. Gonna go towards Gowrie Dam. Alrighty, just to let you know, folks, that we are live. We're coming to you live. You see, this is where the lions went last night. from the Sabi Sands Djuma Game Reserve in South Africa. Coming live from the heart of the bush. And my name is Jared, with Catherine on camera this morning. Just come back from leave. First drive back with Mark on control. Please send in your questions. Control at TV. Right, so yeah, please send in those questions. Looks like it's been a bit of a quiet morning so far. Looks like the lions still haven't been found. We're last tracks heading north into Buffelshoek. Leopard tracks seem to leopards be around that block between Weaver's Nest, Twin Dams, that sort of area. Now heading north on Twin Dams Road. I'm going to go have a look around Gowrie Dam. Certainly you can, with this bush drying out, certainly start to see a little bit further in. This is certainly one of the benefits going into winter. As the bush thins out, we can start seeing further and further in. Makes life a little bit easier for game viewing. The dams or the pans and the water holes are the places to be. As the deeper into winter, water starts drying out and only the major dams sort of maintain. We hope, well, I'm certainly looking forward to some of the larger herds coming through, buffaloes and elephants. Right now I'll pretty much take anything, since there's not too much walking around. Hi Brian, and thanks for the welcome back. Getting quite a few welcome backs from everyone, we do appreciate it, and very glad to be back in the bush. Brian's just asking, do we have any baobabs here at Djuma Game Reserve? Well Brian, certainly we are too far south for any naturally growing baobabs. I suppose if there are any baobabs, they're going to have been brought in. You might find, I know some lodges like to plant baobabs as they're quite aesthetically pleasing. Are beautiful trees, they're my favourite tree. And but generally this is too far south for us to be seeing any naturally growing baobabs. I know just north of us, probably about, not more than about 10-15 kilometers north, and directly east in the Kruger Park there is quite a famous baobab that is, it's a big sign saying the most southern, or the southernmost baobab in the Kruger Park. And it's a road that goes around and does a circle around it. It's quite a big baobab. I think if you had to take how many meters or the circumference, you're probably looking at about, wow, just trying to think, about 15 meters around it. That's huge. And that's the southernmost baobab, and we are south of that. So wish there shouldn't be, Brian, but you never know. Maybe in some of these blocks it's some rare something happened unusually. And of course baobabs being predominantly pollinated by bats, very unusual, not by bees and flies and things like that, or birds, as a lot of other plants, trees are. They're predominantly pollinated by bats, because baobabs grow so big. Often they have hollow cavities within, and that's baobabs will often roost and will live within the hollows of baobabs, and will often be pollinated, this beautiful flower, by bats. Just one of the major things about a baobab that is sets it apart from others, obviously being baobab being the largest succulent. Yes, it is a succulent. And certainly you do know that elephants are around in the dry season if you have baobabs, because baobabs, when there's no water around, there's some waterbuck in Gari Dam. Very nice. Certainly baobabs are completely ring-barked. Elephants will use those tusks and will pierce the sides of the tree, and then take their trunks and peel off all that bark. They'll chew that bark up, extracting all that moisture. A lot of moisture within the tree. Look at that, a family of waterbuck. And my American version of waterbuck, a waterbuck. Any hippo? No hippo. Have the hippo been around, Mark? Just inquiring there. Okay. Mark just updating about the hippos that seem to be in and out quite a bit. Beautiful, nice view of this family of waterbuck. Looks like some females, no large males here. Even the youngster is a female as well. Of course, waterbuck, you can see excuse me, you can see that they are quite at home in the water. Just getting an update here. And waterbuck are famous for making their way into water, bounding through the water, as they are quite a heavy sort of set animal. If there are any predators, and I've seen it before, where wild dogs chased a family of waterbuck and to around a dam, and these waterbuck did not hesitate a second and literally ran straight, and were sitting neck deep in this dam, and they seem to feel a lot safer in the water, even though there may be other predators within the water. Of course, we know that, well, from what we've observed, that there aren't any predators in Gari Dam at the moment. You never know, one may come one day. But and certainly if you look at that fur coat, that very grey shaggy coat, you would think, well, you know, it's that grey coat's going to absorb a lot of water and is going to really weigh them down. But one adaptation that waterbuck have is that this oil gland that exists along just sort of along the back of the animal, and this oil sort of is secreted throughout the fur on the body, and pretty much acts as the preening gland on water birds and things like that. And so the water is dissipated quite a bit, and they're not weighed down at all. And I know that quite a few stories or rumors or beliefs, shall I say, that waterbuck are not favoured as prey items for lion and things like that because of that oil, and crocodile as well. Some of the stories were told that when the waterbuck run into the water, they feel safe from the crocodile because the crocodile will not take them because of that oil in the gland. Now, if you really think about that, and you know, these crocodiles will eat rancid flesh. What is a bit of oil on the skin? How is that going to deter them compared to some of the rancid flesh that they would eat on a carcass? So certainly that is a load of complete rubbish. I've seen crocodiles take waterbuck. I've seen lions take waterbuck regularly. I've seen leopard take waterbuck youngsters. So that theory is completely incorrect. Perhaps in a particular area where there weren't many waterbuck, it wasn't seen at all. The predators used to take waterbuck, perhaps in whichever part of Africa, and possibly where a story might have developed from, where someone said, well, I've never seen a waterbuck ever being taken by a predator. And maybe that's where someone said, well, maybe because it's of the oil and what have you. Well, here comes a grey heron flying across the dam.
Where you live, just comes from Gala. That was a Henry, that thing. I left them going on Dolorite Road by the cut line heading north. So yeah, but because of the Skakang, I just switched it off to come to the
Doesn't look to
Skakang.
me like the level of the dam has gone down at all.
Yeah, it's.
Not so much.
I think Catherine's just saying about the level of Gowrie Dam. I think it would have dropped a little bit, but certainly it's certainly looking still looking okay. Mark just updating that apparently there was a herd of about 500 buffalo that came in the last couple of weeks. They certainly would have dropped that level of water, absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you, Robert. You just from the fire break. Yeah, from the fire break you had not. You just some consultation.
Beautiful sighting down here at the moment of Gowrie Dam. Wind is picking up a little bit, keeping temperatures nice and cool for us. Certainly even sitting in the sun is not, we're not getting too warm here. Well, I think what we'll do is we'll head towards Buffelshoek Dam and then make our way on Cheetah Cut Line south, and then maybe sort of later on towards the end of drive, that last half an hour, we'll hang around Weaver's Nest again and see if any of the leopards have come out. Alrighty, let's see if these beautiful antelope, and head on out. Looks like Gari Dam wall is also thinning out a little bit. One part of it that's looking a bit degraded. Might have to ask Warren to start getting some rocks and gravel. Gari Dam is a major part of where we drive every day. Right, we're on Central Road. What we'll do is we'll get onto go up Gari Cutline onto Buffalo Cutline. Certainly see that the roads are being, it's nice to see, being looked after. You can just see that they have been dragged, probably with some of the tyres. Good part of management of the roads. Just keeps, especially drying out now with all this corrugation that might be occurring, flattens it a little bit. You'll notice that, so maybe not, a lot of the mitre drains or these little culverts that are cut alongside of the road, they are not going to be cut anytime soon. They'll probably let them overgrow a little bit, and that's because we shouldn't be getting any rain until November, hopefully. Well, hopefully we get a little bit before that. But certainly the only time that these mitre drains, see that this is a little bit overgrown and not really dug anytime soon, and they use that so any sheet erosion from any major rain sort of gets accumulated, hits this hump or bolster and gets pushed off to the side. Because we have no rain coming, no need to manage these. Coming in, something that I know Djuma Game Reserve doesn't really practice too much burning, but I'm certainly coming from Johannesburg, seeing quite a few farmers, other reserves and what have you, also doing a lot of burning now. It's, going into the dry season is a very good time to burn. It's not hot, so the risk of a runaway fire is very limited. And if you really want to have a controlled burn, a very, what we call a cold burn, the morning would be the perfect time, or late afternoon to the evening would be the perfect time to burn. A bit more moisture in the air. Well, no, I mean there's not too much at the moment, but it's a lot cooler. There's a bit of a breeze to help it go. And if you burn with the wind, of course, the wind's going to help it move a lot quicker instead of staying in one position and generating a lot of heat. It moves very quickly through an area and only burning the grasses and not really affecting anything else. And that's the difference between a cold and a hot fire, where a hot fire is pretty much burning into the wind, middle of the day when it's a lot warmer, and when it's also there's not too much wind, or you can burn it into the wind, I guess, but you do risk it running out of control. And that's one thing in the bush that if you speak to most guides that have been in the industry for a while, I can guarantee you most 99% of the guides have fought some form of fire in the bush, and it's not fun having to deal with a fire that's really is raging out of control. Because although you'll see that these areas are cut and fire breaks are burnt, I tell you, if a fire is really raging and there is a big fuel load or a large fuel load meaning by thick bush, if a fire is roaring, and some of these fires move faster than a human can run, and with the wind blowing and the fires streaming across a 20-meter fire break across a road, it's not really going to be doing too much, and will very easily jump across the road. It just takes one little burning ember to go across on a bit of a wind, land on the other side. You can fight fires. I remember fighting non-stop. Right, back on the vehicle. We're on Buffelshoek Cutline heading due east. So if you look at the route we've taken this morning, we've pretty much done a zigzag south, zigzag north. So we've hit the southern boundary, we're now on the northern boundary, we're heading completely east. We're going to cover sort of the eastern section, go to Buffelshoek Dam, make our way down south and sort of zigzag towards the west, try and cover as much area as possible. Certainly hope there's some game out with us this morning. Nothing has been spotted on Western Gowrie this morning so far. Looks like these lion tracks are here. This is where Andrew was following them this morning here. Yeah, and then across north. Andrew is going to follow up. He's busy following up now. Sticks Pride went on a bit of a mission last night. They did kill earlier. Andrew saying he found some hyenas on the remains of a carcass on Inyala Road South. Not much left of it. So they obviously did possibly an impala, killed an impala, and that obviously wouldn't have lasted very long for about 4 lions. And hence they've had to move to go look for more prey. Okay. Hi there, Joshua. How's it, Joshua? Hope you guys enjoying the drive. It's been a bit quiet, but sticking around with us. Joshua asks, how does a female leopard choose the male leopard to mate with? Well, Joshua, what will happen? Certainly, whenever she comes into estrus or ready for mating, remember that she will certainly be looking, when she'll be spraying and marking her territory, she will be sort of, those markings will contain higher levels of steroids, and this will be picked up by a male leopard that will have that territory. So what will happen is that when she starts marking territory, the male leopard that overlaps on that female's territory, for instance Karula, she starts coming into estrus again. If she's down in the south, I know that Mafufanyan occurs down in the south. It's because males have exclusive territories. It's not that she'll go, well,